Hey guys, so over the weekend, Tony Khan was in the news again, and once again he was in the news for the fact that he decided to, I guess you could say, speak out about something that he firmly believes is the reason. The reason I got a cough drop in my mouth right now, so I do apologize for that. But is the reason why there's so much criticism towards All Elite Wrestling. Now, we know that AEW has its fair share of fans, probably more so than anybody wants to give it credit for, but it also has its fair share of critics, probably more than anybody does want to admit to. But, when it comes to those said critics, if you will, one has to expect that that's going to come with the territory. No matter whether you're AEW, WWE, Impact, MLW, PWG, New Japan, if you will, it's going to come with the territory because not every person is a fan of what you bring to the table. But it seems that Tony Khan believes that a lot of the criticism that's being stirred up towards his wrestling promotion, if not both wrestling promotions, including ROH, is because of bots. You heard me. Bots. He even went as far as to say that in an independent study that I guess he had paid for to be done, or whatever the case may be, that it shows that this is indeed the case. He even encouraged fans like me and you to go out on Google and look it up to pretty much verify his legitimacy in what he's saying. But why does Tony Khan believe this? Why does he believe it's bots? More so, why is he alluding to the fact that, let's say, a certain company up in Stamford, Connecticut could be behind said anti-AEW bots? Well, it's mainly because, again, it's the criticism. A lot of the critics out there towards AEW have basically come out and said, hey, we don't like what you bring to the table because all you're doing is just being TNA 2.0, or all you're doing is being a hybrid, modern day hybrid of WCW, ECW combined into one. Or sometimes they feel that basically it's a ship, without someone at the wheel, if you know what I mean, without, steering the boat in the right direction. Or nobody steering the boat, period. That's what they feel. And they have a right to believe that. Some, like let's say Jim Cornette, will come out and say it's a freaking company that's all about the spot fest. Or it's just a company that, the Young Bucks and Omega and Page and at one time Cody had developed along with Tony Khan to finally put emphasis on, how important they are to the wrestling and sports entertainment business. That they themselves can be main event stars and have some kick-ass matches and storylines. And again, everybody, even Solomonster said this when he brought it up. Everybody has a right to their opinion. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But to truly believe that much of the criticism that he's getting is because of bots, is ludicrous. I mean, OTR Central, Jeff, said it best in his video, you've got to basically pull them up, and either take the fire that's coming at you or get out of the kitchen. Which is pretty much true. But we have to also realize where this is coming from. This is coming from an actual wrestling fan themselves who was fortunate enough to be raised in a family that has millions, if not billions and billions of dollars, that has allowed him to do the one thing, live out the one thing that all wrestling fans, sports entertainment fans have been wanting to do since the beginning, and that's own their own company and sign all this massive talent onto one roster to show the bigwigs and other promotions like, let's say, WWE, hey, see, this is how we do wrestling. This is how you should do wrestling. Da 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 da. He at the end of the day, he's still a wrestling fan. And he's also a wrestling fan that, as many have pointed out, as I check the time here, as many have pointed out, has a lot on his plate. He has a lot on his plate. He not only is the head and owner of All Elite Wrestling, but he now owns Ring of Honor. He has ownership in Jacksonville. He has ownership in his MLS Champions League soccer team. He has stake and ownership in other projects in the entertainment and sports world. So he has a lot on his plate. And I think what's happening is he's overworking himself. He's overworking himself, and he doesn't realize that what he's doing, what he's saying in social media, when it comes to anybody criticizing any of the things he's a part of, he owns or has a stake in, he doesn't realize that all he's doing is making himself and that product that he owns or has a stake in look worse than what it should. I mean, AEW has all this momentum behind them. There's no denying it. They have all this momentum behind them. But the more Tony Khan comes out and basically, says these things and tries to verify them, I'll put it that way, verify them as legit, the worse he makes himself look, and the worse he makes AEW and to an extent Ring of Honor look. And you don't want that. You don't really want that. And honestly, guys, hold on for a sec. As I check something here. Okay, just checking the time. You can only record about 8 minutes and 52 seconds in 4K. But like I was saying, I think legitimately what the problem is with Tony Khan in the long run, ladies and gentlemen, isn't the fact that he believes it's bots that are behind all the criticism instead of admitting that there are actual critics out there. Nor does he truly believe someone like WWE is paying off certain people to make this happen. No. I think at the end of the day, he's upset. He's mad. He's upset and mad that one of his founding members, one of the founding fathers of the company he owns, one of his former VPs and execs, in Cody Rhodes, decided to do what he feels no one in AEW would want to do. And that's jump ship to WWE, or at least jump back to WWE and try to maybe rejuvenate their career there or finish off their career there. That's why, in the long run, ladies and gentlemen, I think Tony Khan is upset. Because when he sees how Cody was presented, in an identical manner to how he was presented in AEW, but in a bigger, grander way at WrestleMania on Saturday, a little over a week ago, as well as seeing the follow-up presentation of that on Raw, and he's hearing all these things, of course he's going to be upset. Of course he's going to be mad, and he's going to want to find a way to vent his frustration and his anger. Because what Cody did, and I've mentioned this before, and others would agree with it, Cody, by jumping ship back to WWE, has basically made AEW lose a little bit of its splendor, a little bit of its sparkle, and now it's starting to look more like just another wrestling company that, for some fortunate reason, caught lightning in a bottle when it did. And, it's trying to contain said lightning in said bottle, well, they can. And that's why I think Tony Khan said what he did. Because when you really think about it, it came out of nowhere. It really did. But what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on what Tony Khan had to say about bots? Do you think he just decided one day, I'm just going to come out and say it?